Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center. And as you can tell, I'm all bundled up because there's an Arctic wind coming. But that's not going to stop us because this is your welcome to the Advancement Center. And I can't think of a happier way to celebrate my birthday than to be sharing it with all of you up here on our elevated platform of living. Do you realize that it is expanding every moment we discover and experience another miracle? And that's what our world of magic and miracles is all about. Miracles come in all shapes and sizes, from a new awareness of one's true self to receiving a singing FaceTime call from Bonnie, Scotland, while we were still in our PJs this morning. It was wonderful. Now, here comes a very big gift that comes on my birthday, and I share it with each and every one of you. Robert has gifted to us all every one of his broadcasts, and Simeon's transmissions are now public. There is nothing more important to share. His message is what the world is crying out for. You have at your fingertips the greatest gift to give to others. We need a larger choir to sing to. Okay. Now, here's another gift. This is a day of gifts. Here is Simeon's gift to us all. It was transmitted 2.5 years, Earth years ago, and he is here right now. Now is the perfect time to develop a positive sense of the future, independent of what may be thrown at you by some surge of circumstance that indicates the future is being controlled into destruction. The field is open, and there is nothing to stop the positive progress if you step into it without concern or hesitation. If you listen to the defensive mechanisms in your body, you will hold back and never see what is in front of you. The elevation of your being will cancel out the need for the defensive mechanisms, and all that you will see and experience will be far more advanced than what presents itself at the present moment. There is a new wave of advancement available to the world, and it is available in your field, ready to deliver itself whenever it is recognized. The natural flow of your day will bring it to the surface, and you will know that it has never been available before. Look deeply into the world of your Creator and watch the magic swirl in front of you as it brings the perfection of the future to life. This is the reality that you need, and this is the action that makes your heart sing and your spirit soar to heights that have never been achieved before. Thank you, Simeon. And the wind blew and it swirled around, and Genya captured the paper. Okay, oops. And this seemed appropriate on my birthday. And it comes from the self-healing workshop. So we're jumping ahead a little bit, but it was so appropriate. The only reason we had difficulty when we came here is because everyone said, you're the same as that person over there. My God, if I'm only that, I can't do the job that I came here for. That's the biggest panic we've dealt with, being classed the same as everyone else. And we're not. We're not better than anyone else. We are different. It's just like saying a Mack truck is the same as a Mini Minor. It makes the Mack truck useless. But they're not compared because they are doing different jobs. And we are here doing a different job to what most people do. If you said to the average Joe on the street, you know, you are at least 1 trillion times more than what you are demonstrating, they say, oh, what have you been on? But we say it here, and we know it's true. So these are the things that we have to bring out in one another. The fact that there is much more. And even when we get to the stage we think we're overwhelmed, I can confidently say, there's much more again. And each time we sit down and find more, even in the finest little things. If you had a look at the Mandelbrot set and how that works, and I just learned what that is, can you imagine what we're like? That's the fractals. So every part within is the same as the whole. So we're just looking at one little part of it. We have not even got an idea of the whole. And that's why the smallest little thing we do affects so much. That's why I keep saying, you're just like a drop of dye dropped into the water. The water is changed. So everything you do changes the universe. Every step forward you make in realizing who you are, the universe realizes who it is and everyone in it. So the power of what you do is once again more than 1 trillion times 1 trillion of who you are. Therefore, a little precision goes a long way. So in the past, much of the disturbance in the world has been because we didn't have precision. And we were wobbling around all over the place like a bull in the china shop, making a hell of a mess. So precision comes naturally in the infinite. Good. As we play a little bit further, and as we get together more, we'll see that there is nothing more than that infinite trust. Because it's infinite. It never ends. What's coming to us will never end. And the excitement that we wake up with each morning never ends. In the past, we used to wake up with aches and pains. In the future, we will wake up with excitement. Yeah, I love that. And we'll come back to the self-healing later. Okay. Now to the business at hand. And this is how I started, by telling you all about Swisindo. Do you know the absolute best question to ask anyone on the street, in the bus, at a concert, during intermission? Well, I did this yesterday on a customer service call of Bank America. I had some bank mix-up and I needed to go. Okay? I have to take time out and find my papers later. At any rate, I was talking to this customer service woman, and her name is Heather. And the call was going along beautifully. And all of a sudden, I said to her, "Have you ever heard of Swisindo?" And she said, "No, no." And well, we're now friends. And after hearing about the M1 voucher and the DBLC, she added, "Well, I know a lot of things, and I know that $1 billion is put into Wall Street with each new birth account." I didn't know that. I've been talking about the debt burden relief, but I didn't know the number. She did. And she said, "And if you call the IRS, they give you a number to put on all your bills because they're all paid." And one guy tried it, and the feds knocked on his door. So that didn't go too far. She was like a bright light, and it was so exciting to speak to her. And I said, "Well, you know that you're not from here." She said, "Yeah, I know that. Yeah." And I said, "Do you have a lot of friends who know that?" She said, "No, no." They all roll their eyes at me when I speak. I said, "Oh, hello." I know that feeling. Well, welcome. You found your family. She also added, she was really excited. She also added, "Do you know that they have made us subservient by using maritime law and not the law of the land? Because the law of the land said you cannot do that to people. But maritime law, that's what they used and got away with murder." Interesting where you find wonderful people. So I always have my antenna waiting, feeling hearts, feeling responsiveness. And that's what gives me joy. Robert heard me so excited, and it was a fun thing to tell him all about it. And now I know you're all wondering about whatever happened to M1. Well, he's still in jail. However, he is going to present his letter of defense along with the defense statements by his advocates. And right now, it gives me great pleasure to share with you a beautiful letter that Susan Terry, the Secretary General of our ministry, has written. And I printed the letter out because I felt that it was so important for you to hear. If I can not have everything fly away again. So I think what we're going to do is, okay, here we go. Thanks. Okay. So this was written January 11th, that was Friday, to the honorable judges and the public prosecutors, members of the Chirabon District Court, dear His Excellency Chief of Justice and judges. I am a Canadian citizen and volunteer with UN Swisindo. Volunteer, well, she's taken on an enormous job since January 2016, who wishes that justice prevails for and the long name, I'll just say M1, so that he may fulfill God's mission to restore peace, prosperity, and heaven on earth for all humankind. A life of spiritual guidance combined with works in national media and educational research have led me to the door of M1. My father was a survivor of World War II, having lost both his legs, and made it a point to encourage me to be aware of the darkness that is dominant in the world through propaganda and deceit by those who are in places of power, so that I might have the courage to shed light on the truth to make the world a better place. I have spent many years searching for the truth to better understand how to reverse world corruption that I have witnessed firsthand, including the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963. She was in the 6th grade, sitting in the front row, and her teacher had set up a television set so they could all watch JFK. Yeah, JFK and President Sukarno's association, two great wise men with a desire for world peace and prosperity, would have changed the world by the signing of the Green-Hilton Agreement on November 14th, 1963. What a difference 8 days made. Their reputation and honor was destroyed by corrupt shadow governments and bankers, Khazarian mafia, US CIA, and the Rothschilds, who over the past centuries have manipulated and controlled humankind worldwide through propaganda, creation of a debt slavery banking system, terrorism, and wars. What is happening currently to M1 is all relative to these past events. Switsindo was recorded to be established in 1887 by the founding fathers of the parent countries. Indonesia is the parent country of the world's 25 parent countries. The founding father, President Sukarno, came to be known as the only true elected monetary controller. That's how he got his name, M1. He controls the money as the keeper of the keys, codes, and certificates to all world collateral in trust for the people of the world. He registered the UN in Batavia, which is now Jakarta, Indonesia, as of August 17th, 1945. He made a responsible investment of $506,502 million as an investment lease for 70 years to the UN, ending in August 17th, 2015. That was 70 years. And what did we do with that money? Well, all the false charges came after M1's disclosure and reports of extensive political corruption within the World Bank of over 70 trillion US dollars in grants and intermediary trust funds since 1961. The story continues, and the final judgment will be this Thursday. So next Sunday, we'll know what happened. Okay? And as always, speaking to this wonderful small choir, I'm going to remind you about, I hope you've downloaded your M1 voucher. I know Heather is. And yeah, she got really excited when I told her, can you imagine if we kept downloading these M1 vouchers and handed them out to every homeless person you see? And she lives in Buffalo. And I can just imagine the weather, the winter weather there now. And this is also the DBLC. I hope you've all downloaded and kept in a safe place, because she was like talking to the choir. She got it. And there's nothing more exciting than speaking to someone who knows what you're talking about. You know that feeling. Of course you do. And that's why we're up to chapter 6 of There Is Another Way. Chapter 6. As we elevate our possibilities and dare to stand above all things, it is easy to see that we can develop an elevated platform of living from which all things can grow towards the future. If we stand on that platform and reach for the stars, we will feel the sparkle of our own presence and the joy of being accepted in the universe. This action is part of the high-level language that not only talks to our spirit, but allows the reformatting of matter without us even caring how the language works. Our knowledge means nothing in the world of magic and miracles. I found that out. And being practical is a thing of the past. Every step we take beyond the limits and constraints of social and scientific knowledge, I'm going to do that again. Every step we take is beyond the limits and constraints of social and scientific knowledge. People know beyond a doubt that knowledge is its own limitation. Once knowledge has been declared, it cannot be changed until there is more knowledge and proof to go past its boundaries. This is the lowest of all programming languages that has been outdated the day it was introduced. My goodness, even our computer languages can develop machine code from a high-level request, and the operator does not need to know how this is done. If you want a picture to appear, it will appear. If you want something to rotate or move, it will do so. And the hidden code and mathematics are far from your mind as you give the instruction. Everything that we are told about the world and how it works is totally outdated and way below the elevated platform of living that we can all capture in a moment's notice. We are beyond technology and far beyond the imagination that is based on our present knowledge. Without knowing how or why, we continue to demonstrate totally amazing feats at times when we are unaware. Our capabilities are not measured by the systems that have no experience or consideration of where we are connected and what is our purpose. With all that said, it is easy to see that we have much more at our fingertips than we have ever considered before. The challenge now is to put it all into action and not be put down by the system that we work to maintain. Simplicity is the key, once again, and there is nothing to do to make something happen. Everything we have in our life is outdated, but it will hold together and maintain itself if we consider it as a foundation for what we produce in the future. Our main focus must be on the use of the unknown and the consolidation of a high-level language that will take us that one very important step that is beyond technology. The basic thought patterns that come from our knowledge base need to be dislodged and let fly beyond the limits of theory and proof. This can only happen if we maintain our elevated platform of living and allow our sparkles to permanently take our attention away from everything that we now know. As we entertain our spirit and switch on all the amazing things that enter our field, we will see a new world appear. This will come as no surprise to those who are here to pull back the curtain. But its nature will not be known by anyone. The unknown will be accepted, and the results of the high-level interactions with the universe and beyond will appear as and when they are ready. This will be a unique experience in everyone's life and will continue to change and grow over the next 1,000 years. In the past, we have been directed towards fixed lines of development. In the future, we will develop in all directions, and the dance of humanity will produce amazing results that are free from any form of comparison or competition. The director of the dance is our Creator, and all our movements will be directed by the natural signals that continuously fill each and every one of our lives. The interaction of our energies will no longer be considered viable. We will be totally occupied in our task of living and growing and experiencing a new life, just like little children. Thank you, Robert. I'm not sure how you're feeling right now, but I know how I'm feeling. I'm feeling the happiest I have ever felt in my whole life. One, I get to share this good news. Two, I see people growing, dropping the past, engaging the future, being excited, and that's wonderful. Now, everything I've ever said about self-healing, I have experienced. You can find a little bit about that if you go to my website, barbaraworks.com. At one time, I thought I was going to write down everything Robert ever said, but so much happened, I dropped the ball, I suppose. But I think it's time to pick it up again, because there are some really important truths and exercises and considerations that I had never heard before. And I'm realizing the importance of my being present, being here, and changing. Changing is thrilling. Now, my assistant over there, you're wonderful. How did you know I was going there? Fantastic. Only I need the pages that come before this, I think. Well, if you'll just give me a moment, I'll find it. I know I'm on the right page. It's just not early enough. Early enough. Wait a minute. Here we go. No. This is all wonderful. I have this secret key. Well, I should have numbered these pages. Well, I could give you a little sketch of what happened. Maybe that's it. Thank you. Oh, we did that. Okay, well, you know, what's interesting? There are so many wonderful things here that Robert speaks about food, and he speaks about eating animals, and it speaks about grieving, and he speaks about menopause. And that's in front of me right now, so I'll talk about menopause. All right. As far as menopausal is concerned, you all know that you can get past that. Well, that sounds a little hard for those who are having difficulty, but each one of you know that if there is the right support around you and the correct determination, you'll go straight through. You see, what happens with the hormone replacement, because someone asked him about it, is you're trying to maintain how you were. And if you can see that you are going to change and change immensely, you'll do it quickly. And it is a little bit like giving birth again, because you are totally changing. You are changing to another stage of life. The male does the same. 40 to 50-year-old, they go through all that sort of thing, and they don't even know about it. So when you put a focus on things, the intensity is the one that gets everyone, and intensity disappears in that infinite trust. And you know, the body is capable of going from totally hot to totally cold without even shivering. People do it for therapy. But if you are not aware of that, you get under a cold shower and you start to shiver. And you stay like that for hours because you didn't let it go through the transition quickly. So with everything, the intensity has to be there so that the time is short. If you don't allow the intensity, the time extends. Well, it's like a big tank of water. If you open up a big opening, it will empty quick and lasts intense. If you put a little spout on it, it lasts longer. time to empty out. So you have the pressure of the tank of water for a long time. Bear with me. So with every change, it will be intense if you let it happen quickly. It will be intense, but it will be for a short time. If you can open up the flow, it will seem intense, but it clears quickly. Speaking these words, I realize just how much I have benefited from Robert saying these words to me. And it is such an honor to share them with you. I think there's time, because this is very important, and the wind chose what I'll read next, which is amazing. Someone brought up the subject of grief. See that there's no such thing as grief as such. It's a word that has been given to processing the movement of a loved one. But grief is only the result of you not processing it. And then someone said something about doing it quickly. And then he said, and then there will be no grief. Not some, there will be none. Because in real terms, we're supposed to go with our loved ones, help them part of the way, and come back. Quite often, people get stuck, and I had to help a few people come back. If you got a loved one on their way out, you should be willing to go with them through that dark spot until they've reached the light. And that is such an honor. If you've never felt infinite trust, do that. And when you come back, you'll be a different person. I know there's more. Okay. You'll be a different person. And you should take that as an honor. And there's never anything such as grief. That, once again, is part of the infinite trust. And then make some comments about a grief counselor. And Robert said, no, you are not allowing yourself to go through the process. It's got nothing to do with the person. When you go with them, it's like taking your child to preschool. You take him there and you see that they're okay, and you go home okay. And then there are many, many comments around the room about what she experienced and what happened with her and the grief counselor. And Robert said, it doesn't exist in trust. It only exists without trust. It's an objection within a person to the natural events of the world. And that doesn't work for anyone. So when you talk about grief, your best bet is to say, well, it doesn't exist. You know, they'll get a shock, but it's true. It's made up. And they say, what are you going to do about it? You say, nothing. It just doesn't exist. Well, how am I going to get over it? Well, don't keep making it. Don't want to hit you in the head, but it's gone. Because it doesn't exist. If you walk straight into a fear, all of a sudden, it's gone. There are two different things. One that does exist, the change of your body, and the one that you made up because that's tradition. And we hurt one another a lot by that. So you made it up. Well, you can unmake it. You just have to be game enough to say, you realize that it doesn't exist. Have a look at the disappointment on their faces. They'll be disappointed more than hurt. And that's the truth. People look at me strange when I do that to them. But the reality is very clear to you. Because if you suddenly kick them in the shins, it'd be all gone. I've heard that before. They only would have sore shins and no grief at all. It's not even real. And that's the measure. Most of the stuff we deal with is not real. And the things that are real, we've had people say, they're not real. If you're talking to your past mother and someone kicks you in the shins, mother doesn't go away. You have sore shins and you have your mother still talking to you. No matter what disturbs you, just say, right. Oh my goodness. The wind is almost intensifying the meaning of every one of these words. Nothing can get in the way of infinite trust. Nothing. And I'm looking at the rock behind me. Yeah. And the flowers. And the only bit of color is right around here. Everything else is grayed out. Yeah, it's a wonderful focus. And now, thank you, David. I had no idea how close the poetry that you read on Friday is to me right this moment. This is called A Star is Born. You are the universe. The universe is inside of you. It's growing and changing at the speed of light. A crescendo is building. Everything's all right. Fireworks exploding, a celebration all the time. The music is playing your song as you continue to shine. The star is now born. You're exploding with light. All is right with the world, and there is nothing to fight. Things are changing so fast on the wings of a dove, the rebirth of your true self. All you can do now is love. You are the universe. There's no denying this. You are the universe. It's your light. We can't resist. There's something inside us that I can't fully explain. This mystery called life is beginning again. Placed within each of us, the stuff that made all things stardust and sparkles, and the music that makes you sing. You have the power. It's time to start to light up the world from within your own heart. As above, so below. As inside, so out, a reflection of your brilliance. You are creator, no doubt. You are the universe. There's no denying this. You are the universe. It's your light. We can't resist. It's beautiful. It's so much fun living my purpose. And that's giving sound to the words of truth. I know that. It's so nourishing to everyone. And this next one is very potent. And I give this to you with all my heart. It's called forgiveness. I am forgiveness. I have come to take your hand. Many things will soon be disclosed that you could never understand. Your natural reaction will be shock, followed by anger and hate. I've come to share my essence with you, so you won't retaliate. I can see the bigger picture, you know, I always have, standing at the right hand of Creator. Your quick reactions make me feel so sad. Resist entering the war that is in your heart. When your energy comes from that place, it keeps us torn apart. Many have died and sacrificed at the hands of the so-called church, and even more by the beings who run the show. They were never meant to be on this earth. All their deeds will be known. It will be difficult to see. They will be sent off this planet unless they change their frequency. Those that have gave their life did not do it in vain. They knew this day was coming at the end of this brutal game. They are standing with me, ushering in the new world, full of peace, harmony, and compassion for every man, woman, boy, and girl. We are more powerful than any negative energy. Of this I've always known. The human entity that was created with love will take back its home. May these next few words be your companion as you move into the light of the new world. Forgiveness, I see you. You are the way out. Forgiveness, I choose you, though I want to scream and shout. Forgiveness, I thank you. You will save my life. Forgiveness, I've known you. I'll put down the knife. I'll put down the gun. I'll put down the blame. Take my hand off the trigger that would kill me the same. You've been here forever, and I've done things too. There was a time in my life when I desperately needed you. You thought on me without judgment, blame, and Because of your grace, I was set free from shame. I'll forgive, though it's hard. I'll forgive so I won't be scarred. I'll forgive to set myself free. I'll forgive because it's been done for me. I'll forgive, though it's hard. I'll forgive so I won't be scarred. I'll forgive to set myself free. I'll forgive because it's been done for me. The wind is speaking, and it's blowing away the past and ushering in the future. Thank you so much for joining me today. You've made it a very special happy birthday. Now we here at the Advancement Center join together in wishing you a perfect life, perfect health, and a very magic future. Thank you.